Good evening. I'd like to call the Monday, December 1st, 2014 Board of Selectmen's meeting to order. Do we have any announcements? Mr. Aspinwall?
One, Madam Chair.
Yes.
Still announced that there is a open position on the Board of Assessors. The mission of the Assessor's Office is to fairly and equitably value real estate and personal property within the town of Millis. The board is committed to making certain that data upon which property valuations are made is accurate, and it's imperative that the Board of Assessors, the members of the Board of Assessors are factual, objective, unbiased, and honest in all conclusions. The duties include meeting once a month, unless there's a busy workload, which would cause more meetings. During the busier times of year, they do meet twice a month. Typical meetings are held on Monday nights. They review and approve the minutes and executive session minutes from the board. They review and deny motor vehicle commitments, motor vehicle abatements, and exemption applications. They sign various forms as required by the Department of Revenue. They review and approve all real estate and personal property abatement requests submitted by the staff. Within 2 years of the appointment, the candidate shall have to have completed the course 101, assessing 101 offered by the Department of the Division of Local Services. It's typically offered 4 times a year by the DOR, Division of Local Services. Obviously, an appraising or an assessor background is preferred, but it's not required.
And this is an appointed board, right? Not a elected board.
Correct.
Okay. So if anyone is interested, if you could please just submit a letter of interest or contact the Board of Selectmen's office at, or the Board of Assessors office, I guess, right?
Right.
508-376-7049. Any other announcements? First item on the agenda is an interim library director appointment. Mr. Aspinwall?
Madam Chair, I've explored a couple of different options for appointing an interim director now that the former director, Tricia Perry, has moved on to employment elsewhere. And some of the options that we were looking at proved to be prohibitively expensive. Some other options, we just thought it best that we had a candidate who was from in-house, Maria Neville, who is a member of the board, has expressed an interest in the interim position, and eventually settled on that makes the most sense at this point. The staff are familiar with Maria. Maria formerly worked at the library and is now a trustee, and can work 20 hours per week, 4 hours a day, 5 days a week. The rate would be at $25 per hour, and there may be, in addition to those hours, evening meetings when necessary. As a side note, the interviews for the permanent director are going to be starting on December 9th, was it, Karen?
Yes.
December 9th and 10th. Therefore, subject to your approval and subject to a query, I hereby appoint Maria Neville as interim library director and recommend that the board designate the position as a special municipal employee.
If we were to designate the position as a special municipal employee, is that a forever designation? Or, for example, when we, if a different library director were to be hired, do we remove the designation?
You would be designating the interim position
Okay.
as special municipal employee?
Oh, I understand. Okay, interim.
And that designation could be removed if you wanted to do so in the future.
Okay.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Smith?
I move that the Board of Selectmen do approve the Town Administrator's appointment of Maria Neville to the position of Interim Library Director and to designate that position as a special municipal employee, subject to a query. It will be for 20 hours per week, 4 hours per day, over 5 days per week at $25 per hour, plus evening meetings when necessary.
Second.
I think
Yeah, you can't.
I
You have to,
won't second it.
you have to recuse. I will second that. Did you say, does she need a Cory? She's not Cory?
How recent?
For the school, probably within a year.
Yeah, we use a 6-month period.
Okay.
Right.
I do that right in.
Right.
Come on in.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded to approve the town administrator's appointment of Maria Neville as the interim library director for 20 hours per week, working 4 hours per day, 5 days per week, at the rate of $25 per hour, plus when necessary evening meetings, and that this position shall be designated a special municipal employee. The appointment is subject to a query. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks.
Congratulations and thank you.
Thank you.
Very much.
Appreciate it.
All right. Next item on the agenda is an extension for digging, a request to open the street. It's a letter from, did you,
Not here.
no?
We don't know whether he's coming or not.
Okay, what we'll do is we'll put that to the side, and if the individual who petitioned comes in, we'll readdress it. The next item on the agenda is a banner to be placed over the Main Street. Oh, Jen. Sure.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Farrar, 7 Rolling Meadow Drive. I'm here to represent Millis Reads. It's a group comprised of library trustees, school employees, the school superintendent, and friends of the library. This will be our 2nd annual Millis Reads. It was very successful last year, but we feel we could reach more people if we had a banner going over the Main Street. We're launching it in January, and we're having an author come for the book we pick. Our selection is Dark Tide. So the banner would say Millis Reads. It would have our logo, and it would say Dark Tide. And then there would be a circle that says, more info at the library. So I've approached Chief Barrett, and he told me that he would hang it if I got approved. So I don't know if you have any questions.
So, how long would you want it hung for? Or do you have a date in January yet?
Well, the author is coming to the library on February 12th. We feel that we need to have it up a month before he comes, so maybe mid-January to mid-February. Then the author will come on February 27th to speak at the schools for the high school students and upper middle school. We need to give people time to read the book.
Oh, okay. So, the idea is that he comes on the 12th, and that's a
February.
kickoff, and then...
Well, it would launch in January, and we would try to promote the book with some book groups, and we thought the Historic Society can come in and talk about Millis in that time. It's a book about 1919 in Boston.
Mm-hmm.
So we would talk about Millis in 1919. Yeah, it's about the molasses flood. Pick it up today.
All right,
We have
there's
lots of copies at the library. So it would be January and February.
Okay. My only thought, really, it's not even an issue, is that's a long period of time to
Yes.
have a banner.
I was
Up
thinking,
above.
too, the wind might destroy it. So maybe
Yeah.
January 12th to February, like 15th, January 15th, February 15th.
Well, that's a month. How long do we usually put banners up for? I don't know.
Typically, he's allowed 2 weeks.
Yeah. If it were to be 2 weeks or 3 weeks, no more than We normally do things for 2 weeks, rather.
Right.
2 weeks with signs and things like that. So when would you,
I guess 2 weeks before he would come. If
like-
he's coming February 12th, 2 weeks before that.
all right. So like January
29.
25 or, I mean, it doesn't have to be.
We don't usually get other banner requests over that period, right?
I don't know. Like the corral puts up a banner.
But that's over the Christmas season, right?
Right.
They don't do anything, I think, until later in the spring.
I'm just trying to think of the banner groups.
I mean, if we do January 12th to January 31st and then reassess, to make sure that it's still okay, and there aren't any other requests, would that be okay?
We
You think they
do
could
that-
do it closer, too, so people actually come see the author?
Yes, yeah, I think that's what the concern is.
But you
So-
want people to read the book?
I know, but I'd rather not an empty room of the author. You don't even have to read it to come see the author.
All right, well, why don't we do, what did you say, February? How about we cut the difference, then we'll start the 26th of January then, through the 12th.
And when you vote it, can I have a day or so, either way, just for Chief Barrett's convenience?
Sure, he could, we'll say the 25th, which is the
Okay.
24th.
The
which is a
13th.
Saturday, through the 13th.
All right.
So would he hang it up over the weekend, do you think, Charlie?
Yeah.
So we'll say the 24th, which is a Saturday.
You just keep backing it up.
Oh, I don't want it to work. Through the 14th, which is also a Saturday.
Okay, great.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Smith.
I move, is this, I'm sorry, Jen, is this the Friends of the Library? or-
It's Millis Reads, yes.
Okay.
It's their own group.
I move that the Board of Selectmen do approve a permit for Millis Reads to hang a banner over Main Street from January 24th through February 14th to promote their program, subject to coordination with the fire chief.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to grant Millis Reads permission to hang a banner across Main Street from January 24th through February 14th, subject to coordination with the fire department. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Item number 335 is the construction manager at risk contract approval. Mr. Aspinwall?
Madam Chair, this was on your last agenda for approval of the Section A payment for construction manager pre-construction services. And at the time, the project manager thought that that was all that was necessary at this point to approve. They've since discussed it with the building committee, and they do think that it would be to the town's benefit to also have, they've already negotiated the prices for construction services, which is a portion of the guaranteed maximum price. That still would have to be developed by the contractor. And they have a 12-month schedule and an 18-month schedule here, depending on whether the fire station is occupied or not occupied. And based on the project manager's request and the request of the building committee, I'd recommend that the board do authorize me to sign the contracts for not just, you've already authorized the 65-2, but also for the construction services, which includes the total payment for construction manager, construction general conditions, and their construction manager construction fee. The 12-month schedule, the general conditions cost is $664,771. The construction management fee is 1.75% of the expected cost, and that's a total of $790,771. The 18-month schedule is likewise for those two items, $794,930 and $126,000 even. Again, for $920, a total of $920,930. So the total amount that I would sign, if authorized, would be for the 18-month schedule would be $986,130, and for the 12-month schedule would be $855,971. Now, the building committee still has to come back to the board with the guaranteed maximum price when that is developed. So they are still, this is not the full contract.
Okay. So I have a couple of questions. So obviously the 986 adds in, the 986,130 is for the 18-month schedule. But that includes what we did last time, which was the $65,200 for the pre-construction services. So we have in the contract, these things are all ironed out, except what I don't understand is whether or not we're going to do an 18-month or a 12-month and when that's going to be decided. So I guess I'm not quite understanding which payment is being authorized today. Or I think you're saying you want kind of both to be authorized in the sense that when we find out.
Right, when the building committee determines whether they're going to do a 12-month or an 18-month, it's dependent on us contacting local property owners to see if there are locations that could house the police department temporarily, and that effort has not found fruit yet. So,
I mean, the fire department, no?
well, both.
Okay.
I'm sorry, both.
It is underway, though. I mean, we're actively looking.
Okay, so then once it's decided, whether it's 12 or 18, I'm sure you're going to come back and let us know. And then what do we do, retract one of them? Or is the authorization to enter into a contract for either or?
It's either or.
Either or, okay. And then,
And at a subsequent meeting, you would also have to, if we do find a place to rent, and we would choose to go with the 12-month schedule, we'd have to come back for a lease payment.
okay. And then I have another question, too. The construction manager construction fee is supposed to be 1.75%, but how can it be exactly the same?
That's of the total bill.
Yeah, but still, the total bill is still different.
That's going to be the 9 million, 9 point, is it 9 point?
Yeah, that's of the total override amount. That's what that is, the 1.75%. That's not of this amount here. That's of the total project cost is what they came back with, the 1.75. That's why Agostini was so attractive. They were by far the lowest firm to come in. So the 1.75%, the $126,000, represents their fee over the entire project of the $9.9 million.
So they're showing their fee up front? Okay.
Right.
Is that, okay.
Okay.
So they will not be seeking additional CM fees for the
For
other,
the entire project? This is the entire project fee?
No. The contractor has to come back to you with a guaranteed maximum price, which they will be doing some of the work themselves, so they'll be coming back with that portion of it. They can also reserve unto themselves any sub-work that they might be qualified to do.
but that would be separate. This is just for the construction manager position, though, right? So this is paying for the construction manager position if up front, which I do understand, but, so then if they come back and say, and it's Agostini, right?
Right.
So if they come back and say, oh, well, we're going to do this subcontractor portion of it, we would be approving that amount for the subcontractor portion of
If
it.
if the scope of work changes, they
Mhm.
could come back and ask for a change order. The
Okay.
whole the way this project is being managed is different from the typical design build process where a low bidder is chosen. This contractor was chosen by qualification and then negotiation for the price based on a scope of work. If the scope of work changes, then they theoretically could come back for a change in this number.
That, I mean, I understand that, but this number isn't, we're not going to see in every,
No, we're not.
Okay.
No, this
All right.
is the number that they negotiated for their management fee of the project. for
That's my
Agostino.
question. Okay.
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 And where does the potential lease dollars, is that part of this, or
Well,
are they coming back?
If it's a 12-month project, right?
Fits into the 9.
You'll see that there's a considerable savings there between the
130.
two.
Right.
So, part of that money would be used for the temporary location over a 12-month period.
So it comes out of this money that we're not going to
Now, it doesn't come out of,
do appropriation for the lease.
it comes out of the 9.9 million.
Okay.
Okay.
Right, but the difference here is there's an 18-month schedule, which is 130,000 more than, so the lease hopefully would be within 130,000.
It would definitely be, or we
Okay.
wouldn't do it. Right.
Okay.
All right.
So that's where you're looking to pick up the savings.
Right. Right. All right, let me see if I can get through this. Madam Chair?
Mr. Smith,
I move to authorize the town administrator to enter into a contract with Agostini Construction for construction services, either scenario A, which is an 18-month plan, where the general conditions total $794,930. The construction fee totals $126,000 for a subtotal of $920,930, added to the already approved $65,200 for a total of $986,130. Or scenario B, which is a 12-month plan where the general conditions cost $664,771. The construction fee is $126,000 for a subtotal of $790,771, with the already approved pre-construction services of $65,200 for a total contract of $855,971.
Second.
it's been moved and seconded to authorize the town administrator to enter into a contract with Agostini Construction Company Incorporated for the construction of the police fire station. And that contract would either be for a consecutive 18-month schedule at a cost of $794,930 for general conditions costs, $126,000 for the construction fee, for a subtotal of $920,930, and an overall construction management cost of $986,130,000, which includes the already approved pre-construction services, or for the town administrator to enter into a contract with Agostini Construction Company for a concurrent 12-month schedule. $664,771 for general conditions, for the general conditions costs, $126,000 for the construction fee cost, for a subtotal of $790,771, and an overall construction management services contract of $855,971, which includes the already approved pre-construction services cost of $65,200. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Niagara House Hose Tower Project Bid Award. Mr. Aspinwall?
Madam Chair, the town took bids for the Niagara Firehouse Hose Tower projects on November 21st, and we received two bids. The low bid was from D&B Construction of Millis, Mass. at $24,995. I recommend that the board do award a contract and authorize the town administrator to sign the contract to D&B Construction for the work.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Smith?
I move that the Board of Selectmen do award a contract and authorize the town administrator to sign the contract for the Niagara House Hose Tower Project to D&B Construction of Millis, Mass. For a total amount of $24,995.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded to award a contract for the Niagara House Hose Tower Project to D&B Construction of Millis in the amount of $24,995, and to authorize the town administrator to execute that contract. All those in favor? Aye. Next item on the agenda is the discussion of the holiday hours for the Veterans Memorial Building. Mr. Aspinwall.
Madam Chair, historically, the board has allowed town employees in the town hall and library to leave a little bit early on Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve is a Wednesday, I believe. And we were seeking permission to continue that practice. Would be 12:30 in the afternoon.
And then what about December 26th?
As far as I have no proposal for that date to change the hours.
What have we done? Have we done anything in the past with respect to, no? Thursday Christmas? Thursday New Year? Because we're going to have,
It happened about 2 years ago. You
Yeah.
remember there was quite a
I remember.
kerfluffle, as they say.
Kerfluffle.
Is that the technical term? Is that?
Yes, about how we managed that and how we tried to make up the time some other time, and it actually had to come back.
I think that was the Tuesday one. That was when it was a Tuesday.
Yeah.
Because the Tuesday and then okay, go ahead. I'm
It's a
sorry.
similar,
to interrupt you.
I guess it's a similar
All right.
4-hour time, yeah.
Okay. So the Town of Millis holiday hours, and that would affect the town hall and the library only,
And DPW.
and DPW.
And it's only for the 24th, right?
Correct.
And nonetheless, the pay's not affected, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Smith.
I move that the Board of Selectmen do authorize the town administrator to close the town hall, DPW, and library on December 24th, 2014 at 12:30 p.m.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded to close the Veterans Memorial Building, the Millis Public Library, and the Department of Public Works at 12:30 on December 24th,
We have one
2014,
question here on this stuff.
for the holiday. Yes. Yes.
If there is a storm
Yes.
on the 24th,
Right.
what happens then?
They work their regular hours. Until 3:30, they'd be paid straight time, and then they would stay. And it has snowed the last couple of Christmases. So for that day, they would work in their normal schedule if it were snowing, and be paid overtime starting at 3:30.
Okay.
But there's one other position, animal control.
Oh,
I'll move the motion to include animal control.
Second.
and that the change of hours also include, motion's modified to also include the animal control office in those holiday hours. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
And item 338 is a bond anticipation note for culvert excuse me, culvert improvements on Causeway Street. Mr. Aspinwall?
Madam Chair, the treasurer has notified the board that we have to renew a bond anticipation note in the amount of $60,000 for the Causeway Street Culvert Improvement Project. Originally, it was $120,000, so we're halfway done paying for that project, but it's renewed at 0.65% interest.
And that's a 1 year?
It's a one-year note.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Smith?
I move that the Board of Selectmen authorize the treasurer collector to execute a bond anticipation note for a one-year period for $60,000, maturing on December 11th, 2015, at an interest rate of 0.65%. This is for the Causeway Street Culvert Improvements Project.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded to approve and borrow on a bond anticipation note in the amount of $60,000 for the Causeway Street Culvert Improvement. Borrowing of $60,000 is at 0.65%. It's a one-year note and will mature on December 11th of 2015. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Consent items. As for the minutes, we only have the regular session meeting minutes from November 17th. Or do,
You want to do the,
no, I was just going to do that one first, but do we have
Oh.
those?
we have the regular session meeting minutes, yes. Madam Chair,
Oh, right. Mr. Smith?
move that the Board of Selectmen do accept and approve the regular session meeting minutes of November 17th, 2014 as written.
With the,
No, well, the minutes won't change.
yeah, there's a typo.
Oh, there is?
Yeah.
Where?
On 14,318 should be 65,200, that's 65,000. Reference.
There is. All right, Madam Chair.
Mr. Smith?
I amend the motion to include the following update under item 14-318 to replace 65,000 in the motion with 65,200.
Second.
Okay, can I just see those for a second? Because I have to let it know mine.
There's an extra page, too.
Oh, great.
Took it out of order.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the regular session Board of Selectmen meeting minutes from November 17th, 2014, with one change, and that is to item number 14-318, in that the amount be corrected to $65,200. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And there was one item that we are adding to our agenda. It was unforeseen at the time that the agenda was published, and is in regards to the commitment to the collector that was done on the November 17th meeting. Mr. Aspinwall?
Madam Chair, there was a discrepancy in a formula that didn't affect the total that was committed, but it affected the distribution between how much was water and how much was sewer. The water should be $262,318.39, and the sewer should be $256,890.97.
Yeah, but all we do is the total, right?
Okay, so we don't really, can I just see the minutes
Yes,
for a second?
It's
Goes
just
over.
that you do have to sign the,
Goes over.
Oh,
to the
so you
second
just
page.
want us to sign the,
Sign a corrected one?
yes, please.
okay. Oh, I see, right. So we don't, when we do the commitments to the collector, we don't specify what amount is water, what amount are sewer and capital. We just give the total amount. So we'd have to re-sign.
You want a motion to re-sign? Do we have to reconsider in total, or just to?
We just make a motion to sign the
Yeah.
revised.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Smith?
Make a motion that Board of Selectmen do sign a revised Water Sewer Department commitment to the collector for QB 1015 for fiscal year 2015, where the water is $262,318.39. The sewer is $256,890.97. Capital is $73,304.40 for a total of $592,513.76.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to have the Board of Selectmen re-execute the commitment to the water and sewer commitment to the collector for QB 1015 in the fiscal year 2015, wherein the water commitment is $262,318.39. The sewer, $256,890.97. The capital, $73,304.40 for a total of $592,513.76. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Our next meeting is on, December 3rd, 2 days from now, at 7:30 in room 229. That is the purpose, I don't know if it's the only item on the agenda. Oh, it is the only item on the agenda, is the tax rate classification hearing. So that will be Wednesday at 7:30. At this point, and I think that might be our last meeting for the year. Is it? No? Oh, boy, sorry.
That almost made it.
Sorry. So now we're going to adjourn our regular Selectmen's meeting. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I did. You're right. I tabled that. I'm sorry. I didn't really table it. Yeah, we have to. The applicant is not here to present his request, so you can contact him and see if he'd like to be placed on. I wouldn't put him on 12/3 though, but it would have to be the 15th or later in January. Thank you for pointing that out. We do have an executive session, and that executive session is to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation. The chair does declare that having this discussed in an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on our bargaining or our litigating position. When we enter the executive session, we will adjourn. We will emerge from that session, but for the sole purpose of adjourning the meeting. I will poll the board to see who wants to go into executive session. Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Neville?
Yes.
And Ms. Wagner? Yes. Thank you very much, and good night.